Hello everyone. Today we are here with Simone Rampichini, Director of Synesgy in CRIF, to talk about the role of Scope 3 in the assessment of a company's performance in its value chain and in ESG scoring. We have that the role of Scope 3 and in general the assessment of value chain has become a critical factor in addressing a company's performance and competitiveness on the market. In this context, we have that the strategy of understanding the performances of suppliers leads to the necessity to understand why is it so important to address Scope 3 emission. In this case, Simone, what are your thoughts about the role of value chain assessment for a company?
As of today, it is no longer enough when we look at a company, when we try to describe a company, when we try to give a profile of a company, is not enough to look at the company itself alone. It is getting more and more important to really see at the impact of the value chain, what is happening in the value chain. This is because it is in the value chain and the supply chain that we see that are sitting the majority of the impact in terms of sustainability. Sustainability that can really spread from the impact on the environment, the social responsibility, and the governance of the company. So there are several studies that are showing that, for instance, if you look simply at the impact of the carbon emission, the contribution of the supply chain is in the range of 60% to 95%. So it's clear that it is there where things are happening. And since that is the place where the major of the impact are present, it is there that is very important to measure what is happening, and also it is there that a company really can act in order to improve his level of sustainability.
It's becoming clear that the value of understanding performances on the value chain is critical to address regulatory compliance and to mitigate risk. But which are the challenges that companies need to face in order to be compliant and to address such a marvelous endeavor?
There are many challenges. I think that we can summarize them in the difficulties in understanding which data is relevant. So if you ask a single company some data about ESG in terms of, for instance, about carbon impact or certification or procedure, processes, governance, it's very difficult to understand which is the data that you need to collect about yourself or about your supplier. So, but this is really something on which there are tools such as Synesgy, for instance, that can help you in understanding which are really this information that you need to provide. The second point is in the difficulties in collecting the data. So usually companies are lacking of processes and tools to collect data from their supplier. So again, it's not easy as it seems to simply ask to your supplier, give me this data, I need this information. You need to have a process that is well structured, and it is really saving you time. And third point is I think that we can consider that once you are able to get the data, and the data is good, you need really to be able to understand the data. So the data is something that should provide enough information to describe the profile of the sustainable impact of your supplier, but not every company has the skill or has an internal office that is able to analyze this data. So you should really try to look for solutions that are really helping you to really summarize the information and make this information usable. Too many information, too much information are really useless. So you need to have a summary of information that you can really use into your processes, into your decision-making procedure.
Amazing. This highlights the necessity to be quick and dirty in understanding it, having a single metric that can resume which are the performances. And this seems also like a benefit for companies. But which are the other aspects that represents an opportunity?
Oh, in terms of opportunity, it's clear that if you can really show to the outside world what you're doing in terms of sustainability, And if you're able to show that you are caring about that, you are improving, you have some short-term, medium, and long-term strategy in order to increase your performances on this angle. This is really attracting more peers, more partners. So, for instance, financial institutions are more keen on giving money to companies that are showing that are sustainable. You have a nice opportunity in terms of importing or exporting. So, if your supply chain has some characteristic in terms of being sustainable, you may have less impact in terms of importing taxes. And then being able really to select and to act on your supply chain, making it more and more sustainable, means that you will have a stronger supply chain that is more resilient, it has less impact on the physical risk, it's helping you in terms of brand reputation. So the advantages are at least this one. Nevertheless, being able really to understand what you're doing inside of your company, it's really helping you to really better plan your financials for the future on this part of investment.
What is Synesgy?
Okay, Synesgy is a global digital platform that is helping companies to run an ESG sustainability assessment. It is mainly used by businesses themselves to have an assessment on their ESG profile, and it is also being used widely, being used by head of supply chain, large corporations that are willing really to screen their supplier base. Basically, Synesgy is using the global and local regulatory framework such as GRI, SDG, really to help companies categorize the data using a survey. So basically it provides a survey to the company, but this survey is really guiding the companies to understand from where they can get the data and how they should categorize this data according to this standard. In this way, Synesgy is helping to collect the data, the information in a very structured way, and immediately after the survey has been filled in by the company, it is also providing a certificate for those companies that is certifying that the company had provide information, and is also providing a score, an ESG score. This ESG score is a kind of a synthetic number that is summarizing the ESG profile of each single company. On top of this, Synesgy is providing an action plan to the client itself, to the user itself, showing which are the area of improvement, because you get an evaluation, you get also suggestion for improvement, and it is really helping companies to improve on their sustainability.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you for your answers and for clarifying which are the challenges and the opportunities that faces many companies nowadays.
Yes. Thank you, David.